Good morning, everyone. I'm Clint Walker, and this is Real Estate Appraiser Secrets. I had a question from an agent recently who wanted to know what's the best way to price a property that needs renovation or needs a remodel or just needs a lot of work. I think one of the first things that you have to understand and talk about when you're dealing with a property like this is entrepreneurial profit, or just profit, which is how much money is your buyer going to expect to make from this if they take on all this work. So I typically say that in that regard, that an end user may want profit, but they don't necessarily deserve profit. But that becomes part of the negotiation. I certainly, if I'm on the listing side, and I think that this property can be sold to an end user, like they can get financing from a regular bank, then I'm certainly going to price it without any profit left in there for them, because I think that's what's best for my selling client, as long as the property can still get sold in a reasonable amount of time. Entrepreneurial profit is something that everybody wants, but not everybody's entitled to. And I'm going to try to keep that for my seller if I'm on the listing side. So how do you go about determining the price? If you are going to attempt to sell it to an end user, then my recommendation is that you look at the comps, and maybe you've got a bunch of comps of that are properties that need renovation. If you do, that's great. You can just start from there and price it off of those. Find one that is just like your subject and use that. In our market here, it's less common for properties that need renovation to be sold on the MLS. So there's a lot more properties that are either in good condition or newly renovated condition, because we have an active community of investors here flipping properties. So it's more than likely when I'm working on these that I'm going to find good condition or renovated condition properties. So the way I approach that then is I take the condition that my property's in, and I go and get quotes from contractors to do this work. Our contractor quote, especially if you get it from a general contractor, is going to include their fee, which is going to be 15 to 25%. 25% is not uncommon, and so there's a little bit of profit built into even getting this work done by your contractor. So I get that fee. I want to keep that profit, any other profit, for my seller, and so I'm literally just going to subtract the quote necessary to get the work done from whatever the renovated value is of the comparable sales. And that is what I would consider the value for an end user. Literally just whatever it takes to go out and hire somebody to come and do the work while you live there or before you move in. Now, in some cases, the property is not in good enough condition to make it reasonable to sell to an end user, and maybe you've got to sell it to an investor. Now, the benefit of this is you're going to get probably a cash closing, whereas if it's in decent condition and you can sell it to an end user, they can a lot of times go to a big bank and get a renovation loan to take over the property that way. And in that case, you're going to have a normal amount of time from contract to close. But if you got to sell it to an investor, they're likely going to close for cash. But the problem is, or the downside is, they're going to want more profit for themselves, because this is their business. So as a rule of thumb, I see these people usually wanting 20%. So they are a lot of times hiring a contractor, so they're going to be using the same sort of quotes to get the work done as you've already provided, and they're going to want 20% on top of that. And so that all is going to come straight out of your seller's pocket. But this is, they're not going to like hearing that, but it doesn't mean that it's unreasonable, because at the end of the day, they need to liquidate this property, and if they've only got one outlet or one source of buyers, then that's just the reality of the property that they own. So if you get to the point where you need to price it for an investor, then on our MLS, because recent sell information is public information, you can look, go to the MLS, find the super fresh renovated properties, the ones that are obviously being done by a professional, by a flipper, and then look at the tax record and see what they bought that property for. And when I'm appraising a really, really rundown property, that's where I go, because those super rundown properties aren't selling on the MLS. Really, the best way to find them is by finding the renovated house that's being sold and then looking backwards at what that investor paid to acquire that property. You'll start to see a trend. These prices aren't going to be, ultra uniform, because the investors are savvy buyers, and they're going to get quotes a lot of times before they buy this stuff, and they're really going to take all of the repair costs away from the seller. So this is those previous transactions where it's been bought in need of renovation are going to be heavily negotiated, and you'll quickly start to see, if you look at a few of these, some that were obviously in terrible condition, because if you know how to understand the land prices in the area, you'll see these sales prices rapidly approaching just the value of the raw land. So use that. I mean, you can make some phone calls, call their agents. This is what I do. Call their agents, find out about what the condition of the property was in when their client bought it. They'll be happy to tell you, and then you can address it from there. What this does for you as an agent is, if you can lay this course of action out for your seller who's got this property that they just want to get rid of and want to get whatever cash they can out of, you'll be demonstrating to them a level of expertise and value that's hard to find in the market, and you'll set the proper expectations for them, so that if you first try to sell it to an end user and really convey to them that you're trying to maximize their net proceeds on the sale, but that doesn't work, and you've got to reduce the price by a lot because you got to take away that 20% that an investor's going to want, you've already put this in their head from that first meeting that this is the course of action, this is how these properties are transacted and disposed of, and you're taking care of them all along the way. You've done everything you could to get them the most that they can get for their property. So I hope that's helpful. If I can ever be of service to you, you can find me at appraiserpool.com. We can measure those properties for you. I can appraise those properties for you. I can come and do a measurement and tell your client all of this that I'm telling you right now, and I did that a couple of days ago for an agent. So happy to help you any way I can, and hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks for watching.